First few years of college, I threw every single day.
Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
It's time for the semifinals here at the 2023 Canadian High School Ultimate Championships. What a matchup we got for you. The number 4 seed, Etobicoke Collegiate Institute Rams in white from Toronto, Ontario, taking on the number 1 seed, Adam Lions in the green jerseys in dark from Peterborough, Ontario. Both teams steamrolling their way in pool play and won their quarterfinal. They're here in the semis, undefeated, folks. Theo Wan here with Andrew Portwine. Sarah Eady, our producer, in the back, making things happen as well. We thank you for tuning in. Andrew, what are you looking forward to? This is 2 undefeated teams. They faced a little bit of adversity, but this is going to be the real test for both squads.
Yeah, Etobicoke is coming off of a tighter quarterfinal game, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out for them. Adam Scott in Peterborough, a little bit easier time. They won by a good margin, so they could throttle down a little bit as the game ended and maybe rest some of their players with a tight turnaround, only about 10 or 15 minutes between games. Etobicoke had to work, so I want to see how that affects their players.
Etobicoke, we talked about cruising through pool play. 39-15 score differential yesterday, their closest game being 7 against SJR, a team we just streamed. Adam Scott's closest game was 2-6 against Maryvale yesterday. They had a score differential of 38-12 against. So both teams flexing their might, and now they meet in this heavyweight battle in the semifinals. Etobicoke on defense to start in the white jerseys, going right to left on your screen. And we get a first chance to look at the Adam Scott offensive line. And as we do that, let's talk about the wind quickly. Is this pole going to land right in bounds?
Yes, Theo, the wind is coming toward the camera now. So this sideline is probably going to get some action. We're going to have the front row seat.
Fortin with the disc. Hadron slashing across, looking off a couple receivers right now. Gonna have to force a high stall throw, and that's gonna be eaten up by Laugesen. Kai Laugesen, who played Uproar last season, and a shot going up right away. And that's how the Rams attack. Vujasic finding his target.
You can see Etobicoke has a little bit of this lineup. For those of you that just watched our last game, we saw Bill use their height to their advantage. See if Etobicoke can do the same thing.
I've been told Dirt Herlahai will have a spirit captain on this team. It was written Dirt on the sheet that was given to us, so that's his nickname. I don't know how he got it, but
For people vintage, we all had quotes and nicknames in the middle of our real names, so this is a throwback to the old days. Dirt.
So this is where we're going to see how Adam Scott responds. We talked about not facing a ton of adversity. Of course, point, not really adversity, of course. But if those breaks compound a little bit here, they go down 3-0. They respond. 4 female matching players right now on the field. ECI, we're going to call them, because that is their for Rams. They are going to be pulling.
We should do a quick recap of these gender rules. Well, we are using an ABBA format, so we started with males first point, so we'll have 2 points of 4 females and go back to 4 males. And we also have the gender pull is in effect as well, so the that has 4 on the field pulls the disc as well.
Burns remaining on the field right now for the Scott side. Millets had it, now it's going deep. Millets. And a great block from Laugesen against Cole Millets. 2 tall athletes going at it, but it's Kai Laugesen who gets a block.
Yeah, that looks like that's going to be a good matchup throughout this game.
Lots of cheering going on the field behind us as well. Kelvin and Bowmanville, the other side. The winners of those 2 respective matches will meet in the final. We'll have a break after this game, and then you'll see some finals coming at you at 3 o'clock local time. Zone look here from Lions of Adam Scott, and it's going to result in a ball. Tori Palmer getting involved. Burns, receiver, big blady flick. There gets the, Palmer's there for the book. Adam Scott gets the hold.
Perhaps not the intended receiver, but once that disc was up, you can see the receiver going into that zone, try and clean up whatever they can. There's a nice.
Speaking with Coach Brent Jackson before the game. Etobicoke going to run a bit of a tighter set here in terms of their players. So you're going to see a lot of the same names on the field for them. And we'll see how that strategy pays off. They do have a bye for the finals if they make it there. So
you can see on the near sideline in front of us, we have Coach Mark Mann. I could hear him giving instructions to his players. He's instructing some of the cutters on their timing because they're looking to get disc across the field toward the camera and time those in cuts, get some gains. Engage both sides today.
Mark Mann, Glenn McKee, Stahicki, coaches for the Lions, and Brent Jackson, a teacher at this, and had won a national title all the way back in 26 at the Grand Trunk, a long time ago, but the national champion.
And he was on my juniors team. I remember Coach Vlad back in 2014 when CUC was in Waterloo. He played for the mixed merged team, I guess I should say, of Toronto and Waterloo. We brought Water. So I remember coaching Vlad back in the early days. Good to see him giving back to his teams.
Went to high school there. Johnston with number 17 as the Lions get in the zone set. Swalls on. And do get the buck. Swatting it down and is burned out there for his third straight. High release backhand. Trying to catch it under pressure was Millets.
Injury on the field.
Pangredich was involved as well. There is an injury.
I think that's Palmer. I believe that was, I think I saw a number on wide. We don't want to see the injury on the other side. She was willing to be injured here to make that deal, knowing she was probably going to have some attack. So that's a brave play to make.
With this injury, we're going to take a quick break. Back in action here for the first half. Rams and Lions squared at 1 here. Good to see Palmer walk out the field on her own volition and power. Pangredich getting things started again. Was working with Fox now onto that far sideline. Great mark there from Miller. Hammer coming out and Pangredich collects it. Tall handler there for this Lions squad. We saw that earlier with the Talons. Seeing it here with this Etobicoke side as well.
Lions have been using the zone both directions. I mean, that maybe is a little product of less upwind, downwind based on the field, and more crosswind. Might see some zone now from teams throughout the day.
Great mark from Swalls there, really putting an active mark right away. And there's going to switch up depending where it is on the field with Parker Miller, who's now guarding Pangredich. Looking for options. That's tipped, but still caught. Taryn. Rocking the flashy pink cleats out there. There's a few of those players rocking in style right now. Trap still put on there. And the Rams do get out of it over to Styles.
Rams are able to break that trap, but there was no downfield option for the continuation once you get through the cup.
Maddie James with a disc as they set their cup up here for the Lions. Got a free reset if she wants it. And dishes it back. Finds Demkovic. Things continue to move here as Taryn has it over to Demkovic.
Rams really spreading it around. You can't tell who the superstars are. They're using every player. Disc is moving well.
Pangredich finds his target and Jacob Fox for the score. And that's a hold for the Rams.
Rams looking impressive. They weren't panicked, even with a trap on the far sideline. Not panicked. They punched through the trap once or twice. Would have been nice if they had the continuation options to really make a good strike downfield, but didn't panic, reset. You spoke of the handler having a free dump. I like the patience from the handler not turning and just taking that free dump right away. Look around field, see if you have something upfield. You always have the free dump for later in the ball if you need it.
Mark Mann trying to give some instruction here to Adam Scott's side. As we have our observers for this game, Jeff Peters, who you can see on your screen, along with Linda Kudo. Gonna, of course, keep an eye out on the weather. Yesterday, a lot sunnier. I think, you know, walking around the complex, Andrew, I saw a lot of sunburns out there. People forgetting to put on their sunscreen as it got, I think, expected.
We're looking at our producer right now.
Got a little sunburn as well.
I will say, Theo, I'm poking my head of tent. For those watching, the camera facing the clearer skies just behind the tent is getting to be pretty dark, so something is rolling in. Might make for an interesting finish to this game or finals later in the day.
Luka Demkovic with a great pull, trying to put them under some pressure. But it's been a lot of Carson Burns. He's got a high Frisbee IQ. He's going to put this one up for Millets. Millets gets a better of the Lagesson matchup this time around. Flips it back to Miller. Parker Miller. Needs an option, high stall. Trying to sneak it over to Burns, but it gets knocked away by Vujasic. One of the captains of this team, Robbie Vujasic, now picking up the disc for the Rams. A little dangerous throw, but it gets caught. Pangretich out for another point here. Same thing, Demkovic. Taryn is out there too. Playing multiple points in a row. And you know when you have a game like this, Andrew, semifinals, the big players are going to play 3, 4, 5 points in a row. You know they're going to be well-conditioned athletes. We talk about the multi-sport. And coming from different backgrounds is going to pay dividends in this one and in years to come.
Theo, you have to leave it all on the field. You have to empty the tank. What other expressions can I use?
Styles free because Millets went for the bid. And Miller gets the block. Trying to fire up the squad here. No call made on the field. But Millets gambled, and it almost didn't work out in their favor. That was a tough gamble, but that Lagesson-Millets matchup, two tall players really going at it. Pressure from Pangretich. Mower grabs it under that. Played for Rogue Squadron. A big piece of this team. Could even say he's the heart of the team, from what I've been told. Burns gets blocked, but it's a foul.
You could hear the.
I got excited for that one.
You could hear the skin-on-skin contact. That's clearly in the thrower's hands.
Right, that's in the booth action here as we had Ava Johnston collecting a new disc for us.
I will say, I think I just did something illegal. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's actually not allowed from what I know from the rules there, Andrew. I'm pretty sure it has to be correct.
It does. It has to have a tear in it. I don't know the observer was really looking at me, so I kind of sneaked that in there for them.
Unfortunately, this is now on the stream forever, so they're going to hear it for years to come. Great block there from Robbie.
How solid that block was. Yeah, it tells you how solid the hit was, though, when the disc has to come out of play because it's warped.
A headband. He's got some swagger to him. He's trying to make a big-time throw here for the Lions. Going to settle for the reset and a little go action with Mill. It's been every other with Burns. You know the offense is going to run through him right now, and Demkovic on the mark. Flips it over to Miller. And Burns and Moher are going to connect. I think they're going to say it was not in here. Fans cheering, but it might be a little bit too early here. Moher Marked by Lagesson, and then they get the throw in. Great pressure from Stein, but it's going to go the way of the Lions. Tori Palmer collects a goal.
So Theo, I don't know if you noticed through that. I wanted to ask you about one of the marks we saw. I think it was Vujasic, if I'm not mistaken, number 6 from the Rams. He was out marking in near midfield, but he was almost face marking and eye blocking with his mark. And a lot of these players don't play with observers all that often, right? So you can get away with that a little bit. I want to see if that was maybe just one of his hand motions in, or whether that's
instead of intentional. Yeah, you don't want to see that as intentional.
I want to see if that's his regular mark, because observers are going to call you out on that, right? So it's something to watch for. These little idiosyncrasies that players may have that you can get away with in different games, but we have observers now. We're in the big time of semifinals of a national championship. You have to watch these little things that you may not even know you're doing.
I see Taryn back out there, and Styles playing a lot of points for this Rams squad. Demkovic as well. Pangretich. Fox takes a spot on the offensive line. Burns still out there for the Lions. Moher running hard. Johnston as well, trying to set up this zone perhaps, along with Natasha Swalls, who has been a great mark so far. Hammer over to Taryn. And not able to reel that one in, and that's going to give Adam Scott a break opportunity with Coach Mark Mann close to the side here. Burns. It's already thrown an assist, looking for another. Toes in from Miller. There's a poach out here from Pangretich. And Burns gonna find his target, and Millets for the score.
Lions really working just band to build up the sideline. It pays off for this time, but that can't be a sustainable offensive structure for them. They really need to get off this sideline.
A break going the direction of the Adam Scott Lions here, as the score remains 3-2. Adam Scott started on offense, so we're back on serve with the Rams starting with a break themselves here. And what we're seeing is the different defenses of teams trying to mess up the rhythm, right? We know some players, they're used to certain pull plays. They're used to certain things happening. And now with the zone, it disrupts things a little bit. The wind, it's swirly, but would you say it was swirlier than the first game we had?
No, I don't think so. I think it was different directions. The first game had upwind, downwind, had crossfield. Now we've had a pretty consistent crossfield. Players should be able to adjust to that because it's a consistent wind, which is probably all you can ask for as a player, right? You want to know what you're dealing with and adjust to it.
Vujasic working against the zone and the mark of Swalls. Similar players on the field, but we see Bryn Millets now in that cup area. Taryn gonna make sure this one grabs it in traffic. As they move back past the half-field line onto their end.
Taryn really knows how to find these soft spots. That's 2 or 3 times she's been downfield, and it's almost like the defense loses her as she's cycling through and finding these areas.
And swatted away by Miller. That's a tough throw right there, and Burns, who else going to pick up? Already has a couple assists. And I do see that same mark that you were talking about, and that hammer is going to go up. And that face guarding mark, Andrew, that's a very something I haven't seen very often. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, he's not directly in front of the eyes, but I think it's close enough that the observers may cut that out because it is a face guard.
Lagesson, great grab to save possession here for the Rams. This is an offensive point for this squad from Etobicoke in the white jerseys. Have produced many different players that have played in the junior system in Toronto, in Toro. Crashing through. Palmer
again, not afraid to go into the dirty areas.
Yeah, actually fouling Mr. Dirt, hurl high there.
I am no observer, but I feel like the foul may be the other way. I think Palmer actually undercut, may have had position.
Yeah, Palmer
Was
you're
fouled
saying
by the Etobicoke player. But on quick inspection, the discussion,
yeah,
right?
we can discuss what we saw. From my
Yeah.
Hurlahai was going for the disc, and then Palmer came into the direction. So that's unfortunate collision either way. I've never seen this before, Andrew, with players all huddling around the observer like it's not holding their positions.
It's the whole team is out there. This is a full team discussion. I think something that may add to that is the Etobicoke player, I think, as the disc was coming down, the arm almost looked like it came around shoulder or neck area of the defender, which makes it look probably worse than it is. He's just following through at the catch of the disc. But, it does look like a bad situation optically. But Team Orange is on the scene. And Theo, I hear a lot of commotion behind us. What do we have behind us while they sort out this call?
What's nice to see is that we have the other semifinal behind us. So the Talons up 2-1 right now on the Calvin Clippers. Calvin from Winnipeg, Bowmanville. Out of Bowmanville, the Talons.
It's good. Here on our field, still having some discussion. I believe was produced. Theo, we talked about having the mic'd up connection with us and the observers. Now we really want to hear this discussion.
Yeah, I want to know if it was on Palmer or Hurlahai there. We can get some...
at halftime, we will go and speak with the
for
observers and get some clarification. As I said, I think that was one of those situations where it looked pretty bad because of the follow-through.
I'm going to suspect it's actually on Palmer because it looks like Etobicoke's going to keep the disc. So I'm going to put that out as my prediction, but we'll get you the actual facts here once we get a chance to speak to Linda Kudo. This is an offensive point for the Lions here of Adam Scott.
Either way, Theo, the main point is there were no injuries and we're back to action. Everybody's on the field. Lions knocking on the door.
Oh, I stand corrected. It's the Lions actually keeping the disc, so perhaps it was on Pangredich instead, or Hurlahai, excuse me. Burns going with a high arcing flick, finds Millets for the score. And that is in fact a break actually for the Lions. It's on the defensive point for them. They go up 4-2.
Whoa.
Millets
with another card. Blue card. We'll see what that is. Perhaps a little overexuberance on the celebration. Blue aren't too bad as a singular item. You don't have too many. It's not like Pokemon or something.
You don't want to connect them, that's for sure.
But Mr. Peters giving some cards.
Burns finds Millets for his second goal of the game, or second connection of the game for those two. Millets' second goal, Burns another assist, add that to his notch. And now the Lions facing some adversity of their own, down 4-2. No, Adams. Lions up 4-2 here. The dark jerseys going left to right on your screen. Going to battle against the Rams of Etobicoke. It's been a contested semifinal. The Rams start off with a breakup 1-0. Traded a couple points, and then the Lions have been able to rattle 3 straight points in a row, a hold, and 2 breaks to put us where we are now. Zone look once again from the squad from Peterborough, and that's swatted away by Burns. Burns got his handprint all over this game so far.
Yeah, just enough to change the flight path. Take that away from the receiver.
Had Palmer going under, but instead going to settle for a reset to Miller. Millet's in the backfield. Want to see him continue to move downfield as he's been a big target for them. Good grab there from Miller, drawing some oohs and ahs from his own teammates. Stack pretty deep right now for the Lions. Johnston coming under. Instead, he's going to boost it over to Miller. He's going to catch it and dish it over to Millets for another break for the Lions. And it's roll time right now for them. That's 3 straight goals from Millets.
And Theo, you could see, you made the point, the stack was set up extremely far downfield, and the stack wasn't really active either. The handlers had to reset a couple of times, and that was a bit of a forced throw downfield that was read really well, came back to the disc.
Timeout has been called by Etobicoke. We're going to take a timeout of our own and be right back. First half action of the semifinals between the Adam Scott Lions out of Peterborough and the Etobicoke out of Toronto. We talked about some cards. Hurlahai getting a card for the contact and also running blindly based on he had said something, but not got confirmation from the observer base. So Hurlahai running blindly into Paul. And Andrew, you were correct on that one, so I will give you kudos for that on the foul given out, a card that you saw, a blue card. Language and trash talking. So not just a warning, it was a card given. So observers really putting down their foot there, making sure things don't get out of hand, which is nice. Moher on the mark, or was on the mark, batted the disc, and now it's Swalls. Or excuse me, Johnston out there. Johnston has played a lot of points for this Lions side. Same thing with Millets and Burns. You know, we've called those names out a few times now. Bryn Millets is out there too.
Big D.
And now Burns a chance to work things on offense. And Fox thought he had the block, but there's a call. I think that was a foul there from what I saw. I don't even think the disc was released yet.
I don't even think the handler was looking to throw. The motion of throwing wasn't even there. I think that was, to borrow an old term, stripped straight out of his hand.
Some discussion to be had still between Burns and Fox. Jeff Peters getting involved as well. Those are your two observers, Jeff Peters and Linda Kudo.
Well, we have a quick break in our action. 3-1 for Bowmanville over Calvin on the semi behind us. I know some of our viewers are writing in asking for updates. We'll do our best for you. We'll keep you informed. Got to keep the viewers happy.
That is true. Moher, guarded by Pangretta. She's directing traffic, but Fox undercuts that throw and smacks it to the ground. Scuba to get things out over Laugesen. Zipping it over. Had Styles, but Styles continue to go hammer. And he's going to grab it in traffic. Willem Pangretich getting things going. That was a hammer from Luke Demkovic. Grabbed that in traffic and really took the contact, able to stick with it.
Theo, we playing an upside down point. We have the scuba, we have the hammer. These kids are really breaking out all this. the wind has died down. So let me just also clarify, it's going to allow for some more of these types of throws to happen, at least in the short term. But certainly not afraid to break out all the tools from the toolbox.
You're seeing these throwers, some of them not even in grade 12, some of them, of course, in grade 12 seniors. But they're making these throws now. Imagine if they continue to play club and go into adult club, what could happen?
Lots of discussion among the Rams on the line with the 7 players, really figuring out, I think, what position they want to play or what they want to do.
Fox still out there. Taryn, Styles been playing a lot of points. Demkovic, excuse me. Pengredich, deep pull, but that's out of bounds. Burns to get things going. And you've heard the names I've already said multiple there. Marin Faulkner out here on the offensive line. Ava Johnston. Stack being called, but it looks like it is Person here, or from the Lions. Poaching off a little bit off the offside handler, and Moher getting the reset. Styles is poaching off her person. It allows Taryn to get the block. Great defensive set called there by Coach Jackson and the rest of the staff. Trying to get a big back of their own. Taryn. See the spacing and melt being called by the Lions. Demkovic. Throws another hammer. And he out to Lagesson for the break of their own. The Rams only down 5-4 now.
Excellent footwork, dragging that back foot. From the distance, you could even see the turf pellets flying. And again, I mentioned it earlier, Theo. Taryn, always open, finding these soft spots. Maybe not getting the disc every other time, but the key play, hitting her on the open spacing.
The Rams, with their little run, a hold and a break, cause a timeout for the Lions, and we'll be right back. Lions dealing with adversity of their own right now, giving up a break as the Rams flexing their muscles a little bit. It's still 5-4 with everything on serve as Adam Scott started on offense in the first half. We thank you for tuning in to Ultimate Canada's coverage of the 2023 Canadian High School Ultimate Championships. The Lions in dark receiving Mills. You know, it's a big time target for them. Johnston getting things started for this Peterborough side. Marked by Styles. They're doing a great job of poaching off of a female matching player. So they're causing a lot of disruption. Does get through. And now over to Miller. Big block from Taryn. Taryn been all shredding it on offense and defense for the Rams. Trying to see if they can swing things over the other side. Disc was with Maddie James. Now back to Pengredich. Handler for them, Willem Pengredich, number 74. Fox. Gets it back to the far side of Pangredich. That zone set now made by the Lions. Over to Taryn. Flicks it back to Pangredich. Just outside the end zone, less than 10 yards away for another Rams break potentially. He's going to throw it to Fox, and Fox going to go horizontal for the score, and we're all tied up.
Good patience on offense. I thought a few times they looked off the swing to this side of the field over to us, but kept it centered and actually had two receivers to choose who wanted to catch that goal over there. Well done. Good patience.
Saw Adam Scott call a timeout on the before that previous point and trying to stem some of the tide, but the Rams keeping it rolling right now. Brent Jackson, one of the coaches. We talked about Vlad Ilic having played for Grand Trunk. So did Brent Jackson all the way back, and it's one of its first iterations. Told me he played with star players like Kirk Nyland out here. So, you know, he's got that experience coaching, and he's doing that here, or playing, and now bringing that in coaching with the Rams.
That's the way back machine, I think there.
Some of our viewers might not know that name just because that name hasn't been said in a little bit.
A quick update, we have 5-1 for Bowmanville over Calvin on the other semifinal behind us. So we'll continue to update that as developments happen.
Defending champion Calvin Clippers facing some adversity of their own right now. Miller is streaking deep, but having that female poach on the open side really causing some issues right now. What a smart defense right now. Allen on the mark. That's really causing some problems for the Lions. Allen just standing there denying some of those open side throws. They do get it to Millets.
A little quicker movement of the disc, get it over to this near side of the field. There we go, finally utilizing the full width.
Burns going to pop it up for Millets. He's going to await the throw, but he actually goes down. And I was going to see if there's an injury call. He's hobbling, but he's going to try to play through it.
Could see him jam the brakes on to change and read that disc as it went over his head, and his ankle just went out from under him.
Styles got the block. Styles is going deep, but Millets is hovering around the area. They're going to throw it that direction. Millets is going to get the block with the left hand. Potentially if the throw came off earlier with Millets being a little bit more in the shallower space, but that one a little bit tough. It's okay to test Millets, especially when he went down a little gingerly there. Want to see if he can make that play.
I don't know if I'd want to test him too often, though. That's a pretty big height mismatch. Regardless of who the player is, that's an opportunity for a D.
Maybe you can work him on the underspace instead, potentially as well, right? To kind of get him moving.
Well, if you want to test the ankle, you cut, make him plant and twist.
Demkovic gets the block, trying to go for the bookends here. Millets is there, but Demkovic going two-hand strong, and the Rams feeling the break trade a little. With Johnston been out there a lot. See Glenn McVicky out there talking to the offensive line of the Lions. Mark Mann just talking close to us with Linda Kudo.
Coach is trying to work the observers, maybe get a call in their favor. Is that what it is? Is this NHL style?
Trying to get some calls out here. Pangredich pulling here for the Rams. They're trying to break for half. They did start on defense, so if they can go up 7-5 and then start on offense, they're got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I think any coach would take that, especially this has been such a tight game. 2-point lead, get a little rest at half. Nice pull.
Great pull. Going to set themselves up in good defensive positioning here. getting some burn here on the offense. Big fake out to Palmer. Going to send her back into the deep space. Resetting things over to Johnston. Fox playing great handler defense and does eventually get free is Burns. Burns putting this out for Palmer. Lagesson is there to poach off and get the block throw hanging a little bit too much. Probably for what Burns wanted there. Pangredich to pick up, working against this Adam Scott zone. Fortin on the mark. Getting low and bouncy. Trying to make things difficult, and that Scuba still coming out. Etobicoke loving the upside down throws here. And clearly they've been working on it with their coaching staff. You got to just get out and throw. That's a big thing. Getting the reps in. Oh, Demkovic overran that a little bit, I think.
Love the timing.
Thought he had less time than he had.
I like the timing from Stiles. She knew that the wasn't for he took off, completed. That's a goal down.
Miller dishing over on the doorstep. Hold, and I shouldn't say doorstep, it is a score. So Parker Miller finds Ava Johnston for the hold for the Lions, stopped some of the bleeding, and we got the next point for half.
Well done.
I'm not going to say Galaxy point because I'm not a fan of that.
Well done, though. Both teams, like I said just a few minutes ago, trading punches. No one's pulling away in this game. 6-6, the way it should be. Let's have that race to half. Take a quick look across. We have 6-1 for Bowmanville over Calvin in the.
Oh, Talon's really taking it to the Clippers here.
They did look very good on our previous stream. I will say I didn't know what to expect from them, but I was quite entertained by them. They had some tall players, skilled players, so it's translating to the next level here in the semifinals for them. 6-6. I mean, how can we not talk about this game? Let's get our focus back where it needs to be.
I'm trying to get you the action from at least all the sides that we can here, with the semifinals going to wrap up in this time slot, and then there's going to be a bye, and then eventually there is going to be the finals. Line Styles out there. Aaron, Jacob Fox, Kyle Lagesson, Luke Demkovic, and Willem Pangredich out there. Shooting it deep, but Millets is there for the block. You said not to test him. I said maybe test him. It sounds like don't test him, right?
I'd like to see him push that D. He did bat it down and almost went behind him to the offensive player. Got to catch that one.
Fortin slides to his knees to save that one. That zone set up, or kind of a poach look. Styles really making things hard, forcing these handlers to break. I think that's a smart move right now from the Rams, causing a lot of disruption. Johnston, high stall, finds Moher. Burns moving it forward to Palmer on this close sideline. Palmer marked by Styles. Good active mark from 22. Fox was in there too, trying to get a block.
Little bump and run there on the mark. Just enough to slow down the throw and continuation.
Yeah, you see Taryn kind of floating into space here, poaching off her check. Now eventually getting back downfield. Moher finding Millets. Lagesson was coming in hot.
It's good help defense from the Rams. Taryn was floating off as you put their player in the end zone shift over slightly just in case the threat was there. Well disciplined, well disciplined. Taryn also has the speed. If she's slightly into the lanes, she can recover that speed with her speed as well.
Great grab in traffic there by Bryn Millets. Needs some help and finds Moher, who's not in right. Demkovic guarding him. Really tough quarter. Scoobering over to Cole Millets, and there's going to be a discussion of some sort. I think there's an injury too, so lots of things happening on that point there, Andrew. Taryn went down. Millets is out there too. Good spirit to see Fox checking in right away as well.
It's great to see, that everyone's healthy, but no fear from any of these defenders on both teams. They're willing to get in there and mix it up for the D.
So we've talked about Taryn's name a lot. So if she's not able to play, this is going to be a big hit for. I know the Rams got some depth, but you know you've seen Taryn buzzing all over the field.
I was going to say, for my money, I'd put her as the MVP so far, and it's the subtle things, finding open space. You know, might only get the disc once, but she's always that key linchpin that's in the offense. She's filling lanes, as she said. She's poaching off and knows when to pick and choose her defensive poaches. She's been a very valuable player thus far in the game.
More discussion to be had here. There was a lot going on. There was a bobbled pass. It was a tight quarters throw to Millets there.
What I will say, Theo, as much as we've had some stoppages and discussions, it's all for good reason because it's hard pushes for the disc. You know, players are putting in maximum effort. It's not anything dirty. It's not anything contact that's shady or any of that means. It's hard effort on both sides. And I say that we did have a yellow card, but I still wouldn't have called it malicious. I think it was just unfortunate the way the arm had flailed a little bit from one of the players. So this discussion is going on. I will give a quick update. It is 6-2 for Bowmanville now. Calvin has chipped into that lead slightly, so we'll keep you up on that. Got both observers in, really having a good discussion. We'll continue to see what the observers have to say here. The observers do try and move it along after about 20 or 30 seconds, which we've clearly gone through. So this must be a pretty, I'll say, contentious call. Both sides holding steadfast on their view.
Moher's out there with Pankra. I mean, I could say all the players, because right now all the players around the disc, I don't know how they're going to reset where they were supposed to be, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Lions are still spread out around the field, kind of holding
the
their
Rams
position.
have not, though.
The Rams, I didn't think Rams were a pack animal. I thought they kind of like hunt on their own or, you know, go headbutt with some horns. Maybe they're a pack animal.
Does this delay favor either side, though, Andrew? What do you think?
I don't think so at this point. I think you made the point of having to lose a player who's been a key player for the Rams is probably the biggest impact to come out of this entire situation. I mean, I'm sure both teams would appreciate a little bit of rest. So we're starting to break up here. Let's see what we have for an outcome.
Disc staying with Ben Moher. Demkovic on the mark here for the Rams. Adam Scott trying to get a break for half. Trying to keep things on serve here. Resetting it back to Burns. Got to clear that open side space. Nice little shifty move there. And the Lions do, in fact, break for half. It's Burns throwing an assist once again. And that's how the half will go. 7-6 for the Adam Scott Lions. That's Bryn Millets, the only junior women's matching player on the field for the Lions, gets that score, taking.
I believe that's Taryn running to the field to speak with the coach and the observer. So the fact that she's at least moving freely and like her ankle or knee is problematic, maybe we'll see her in the second half. Certainly, Cole will be thrilled to have her on the field.
It's halftime here in the semifinals, and the other semifinal. We'll update you more on that, and of course, to this coverage after the break. Second half action coming at you from the 2023 Canadian High School Ultimate Championships. Ajax, Ontario. Great venue for this one. We have the Adam Scott Lions out of Peterborough, Ontario in the green jerseys, taking on the Etobicoke Collegiate Institute Rams out of Toronto in the white jerseys. It's been a bit of back and forth. Lots of breaks and momentum shifts as we're on serve here. ECI starting on offense right now. Theo Wan here with Andrew Portwine. Thank you for tuning in. Zone set up. Johnston on the mark. James has it. Excuse me, Allen. Now let's move over to the far side of the field. To the aforementioned James. James faking hammer. Gonna look at the line.
Theo, look at the zone. Do you notice forced sideline so far? I like the pull. It landed on the near sideline, which is where they've been forcing. I thought, great, perfect placement of the pull. As it got swung over, they were trying to trap sideline again.
So forcing the sidelines a strategy, but the hammer is going to get them out of it, at least for now. Demkovic had styles, but Moher was hovering in the area. A very tall, deep defender. Don't want to test that right now. Faking the hammer, goes to the flick instead of Demkovic. Has James on this close sideline. Instead, going to go back to the far side. Inside to Lagesson.
James could have gained some traction here, gained some yardage as well on this sideline. They're looking her off when they could be gaining 3, 4, 5 yards.
Longest line's Pangretich, who's wide open there. Burns slow to get the mark on. Demkovic being marked, but gets the flick out. Was marked by Swalls there. Swalls doing a great job on Demkovic right now, trying to throw him open, but Johnston gets the block. Great defense. It was an off-gendered matchup, but Swalls able to make the play, making things hard, and then Johnston cleaning it up with the block. A shot going up, not sure who was in the area. James there to provide some extra coverage just in case.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mystery. That one went to no one. There wasn't even a cut that was truncated off, so I don't know. Is that a punt? That doesn't seem like a strategy you want to employ at this point in time.
See Faulkner talking with the coach there as one of the wing mids, talking with Mark Mann. That throw's going to pop up. Demkovic going to get there with some time. Has Taryn coming under, but nice to see her back on the field.
Triple teamed to take away that cut.
James getting over to Lagesson. Melt called, so they're going to go in person here. Allen getting a lot of yards over to Taryn. There was no mark on Lagesson, able to get a free pass wherever he wanted. Now Demkovic trying to go give and go with Lagesson. And they do just that for the hold. Good offense from the Rams.
Yeah, better patience than their last time at the end zone where they tried to throw someone open on the gender mismatch. This time they worked the disc and found a better quality shot to get that in the end zone.
Adam Scott now got to put their offense on. I see a lot of the same players walking onto the field. No one from the bench actually coming on right now. So Millets, Moher, Palmer, Johnston, Burns, Miller, and Swalls out there.
Yeah, Adam Scott really shortening the bench. They're going to start riding some of their key players from the looks of it. 7-7, tight game.
Bryn Millets coming on the field in place of Moher, and Swalls still jogging on the sidelines. Going to be 4 female matching players on the field right now, and with that change, McKenna Allen is going to come on the field, spelling off Hurlahai. James set to pull here for this Etobicoke side. Demkovic still on the field, Pangretich, Lagesson, Taryn, Stiles. And James played that last point too. So the same player is going to be out here for both sides as we get into the final few points of this contest. It's getting down to the crunch time here.
It is. I mean, 7-7. This is what we wanted, right? Tight score, coming down to the end, coming to the wire. It's excitement. It's semifinals. It's got to be a tight game.
Palmer gets in the middle of the field, guarded by Stiles. A lot of clumping of offense right now. A lot of players around the disc, especially defensively. Millets gets the disc despite the pressure from Lagesson. We see Allen just as the open side dump, almost a double team right now, but it's not called.
Yeah, is that the old theory? It's only a double team if it's called? I know we have observers here that can actually penalize that if need be, but...
Burns looking for Millets, but it's ruled out of bounds by the close observer, Linda Kudo. I like the idea of trying to thread it through, but that was a tight window. Penn Greenwich going to be on that coffin corner here. Johnston was going to be the mark, switches off with Miller now. So Parker Miller there. Endless bounds of energy. You can see it. He's trying to go high hands. You know they want the hammer. Millet's sneaking in and does that like a volleyball spike to block that. Burns trying to get it quick in transition. Finds Miller. Some great jukes from Burns. Kovic. He's going to find Miller for the score. Adam Scott gets the hold.
Yeah, Miller, as soon as he released that disc, he made that cut for the end zone. He was past his mark. It was just a matter of making the turn and coming back to some open space for the throwing lane, but clearly accelerated away from his defender. Nice loud timeout call here from the Lions.
And I'm going to suspect this timeout was called specifically with the idea in mind that the same 7 players are going to go back out on the field. You see them on the line. They're not even going to the sideline. So Millets is still out there. Burns.
Someone
Miller.
sitting. I believe that's just for rest to sit down. I don't think it's an injury. Just
that's Millets out there.
Yeah, getting some
Cole Millets
rest.
been playing a lot of minutes here. Been told he's a multi-sport athlete with a high 90s average. So he's an academic and he's an athlete. That's a dual threat if I ever saw one. Etobicoke going to regroup on their side as well, see who they put out. We see Brent Jackson talking with the squad along with Vadilich. Andrew, we're going to get you to give a score update as well right now from the other side.
Yeah, we have 7-4 for Bowmanville over Calvin. So Calvin's slowly chipping into that lead. Bowmanville's been kind of stalled out a little bit. They are taking their halftime break right now. So we'll see how that one plays out. Calvin slowly chipping into that. That could be an interesting finish if it keeps at this rate of pace, the way they're scoring.
At one point, I believe it was 6-1.
It was.
Mistaken. So there's been a lot of...
that other semifinal could shape up to be, well, if Calvin keeps on trucking with what they're doing right now.
Yeah, with this timeout, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Critical defensive point. The same players coming on the field for the Lions. That timeout called to maybe give them some rest, and they're going to get a little bit more rest as well off of that pull. That's going to get them to the brick. Penn Greenwich has the disc for the Rams. Lagesson out there still. James, Fox, Taryn, Hurlahai, and Stiles are your 7 for the Rams. Johnson is in the zone here with Moher and Bryn Millets. Fox swinging the disc, hitting Johnson inadvertent, and like to see the Spirit as they continue things moving forward. After a little bit of some chippy play, some plays a little bit contentious, it's been pretty smooth Spirit-wise after that. I know the Spirit captains actually met with Linda Kudo before the start of the second half. Trying to clear things up here. Every team having that, the Spirit captains.
As we say that, we have a small discussion here, but yeah, I think for the most part it's been pretty good. Even the air quote chippy plays were just good contested discs, nothing malicious. So it's been a nice game to watch.
Good job is right, and time is going to be a factor soon. We're at 1:04 right now. This game started at 12 local time. So the cap is looming at the 75-minute mark, right?
I'm getting excited at the cap here. It's been nothing more than about a 1-point game for the last while, so we're in for some fireworks, I think, at the end of this one.
Hopefully not literal fireworks here, and just the proverbial ones here on the stream. 8-7 your scoreline here. Weather dropped a little bit. I'm starting to shake a little bit out here in the booth. It's not the same sunny skies that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, the weather's clearly rolling in. We spoke about it a bit earlier, but you can see some flags around the park are starting to get at full stretch and the dark skies behind us. So it is on the way. The finals may be entertaining. Wet disc and some action that we haven't seen all weekend with the sun.
This discussion stalling things a little bit here, but the disc will remain with the Etobicoke side. The cheers you're hearing is that the Clippers of Kelvin just scored, making the lead 7-5.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to keep you updated as it's right behind us.
Yeah, Bowmanville stalled at that 6 and 7 point range. They haven't put much on the board in the last 20 minutes or so.
This is going to be a high stall throw here from Maddie James of Etobicoke right now. See who she looks. She got Taryn back there, Pangredich. Laugesen is also in the area, Fox. There's a lot of bodies in a very close proximity right now. Time continue to play a factor. As I mentioned, it's 1:06 now local time. So we got about 9 minutes of the hard cap.
Coming in at stall 8. There it is. Nice quick dish.
Moher setting that zone in terms of the mark, or the top of the zone, I should say. Fox getting it, dishing it over to James. Little scuba. They like the upside down throws for Etobicoke.
Yeah, they may want to reconsider that. We've seen the last couple of them. They tried to go too far downfield and they float. D have eaten them up a couple of times, so that's something that has to play in the back of your mind as a handler.
And they're ignoring that right now because they scuba it over to Taryn, Pangredich. There with the zone still set up. We saw Bowmanville earlier do the same thing. Set up their zone close into the end zone. There's only going to be a few more points left in this game. Everyone going to be critical here. Defensive cheers rattling up here from the Adam Scott sideline, trying to usher on their defense to a defensive stop here close to their own end zone, and it does just that. Miller barely kicks it for some good measure, and Burns now picking up. Over to Miller. Some cutters very deep here for the Lions.
You weren't kidding, Theo. That last second wind here has got some bite to it. The cold weather is moving in. Big
shot
downfield
going
shot.
Up for Millets. And that's going to work out. Burns to Millets. And a break. The timeout works out for the Lions on that one.
It does. Nice full field bomb. No hesitation, no pause. They know what they want to do with that disc. 9-7, Theo. Finally have a 2-point spread here. It's been a little while since we've had that big of a spread.
Who do the Lions put out for this one? It's the same 7, folks. It's going to be Moher. It looks like he's going to pull. Burns out there. Millets, Miller, Johnston, Swalls. Oh, no, excuse me. Palmer, Johnston, and Bryn Millets out there for the Lions. For the Rams, Stiles, James, Taryn, Demkovic, Laugesen, Fox, and Pangredich.
You're on fire today, Theo. Your eyes work a little better. Some of these numbers, although I should say these schools, we should thank them. Their numbers are fairly clear on these jerseys. All right.
Must score point right now for the Rams. It goes without saying. 6 minutes to the hard cap right now. Must score point for the Rams on offense. Zone look trying to stall things over for the Lions as their sideline getting louder and louder here. Demkovic going to shoot the same third huck, and that's not going to work out with Millets hovering in the deep space.
Again, trying to challenge that deep defender. It's, 3-4 times this game. It hasn't worked.
Burns trying to get a new disc, but it doesn't work like that. We already gave them a gift earlier. Don't want to tell them that twice.
Linda's going to hear this. I don't need Linda, the observer, coming over to find me. Oh, it looks like they were going to run over for another disc.
And in fact, the disc will be switched out. We get to see Mark Mann's throw out there.
I've been in this game twice, Theo. Twice I get to complete throws to players.
Yeah, you've touched the game disc twice here. Mark Mann showing off his backhand to the chagrin and the clapping of the parents out here. Reset over to Miller. Can they punctuate this game right now with the break and really put things on ice? Booking their ticket to the final. Millets thought he had it, but I thought that hit turf first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's turf. Nice effort. Not going to take away the layout effort, but
No, definitely not going to take away the effort, but
pretty
definitely
sure that
looked.
was on the short hop. All right, so we have a small discussion. Let's turn around. It is 7-5 Bowmanville Calvin. So another tight finish with the clock running down. And a reenactment. We always have to have the reenactments.
This delay doesn't help the Rams, though, so the Rams are going to want to get this resolved fast. You see Coach Jackson out there, and he's telling his players to step back because the delay is not going to help the Rams. They need to score quickly.
They are in fairly good field position right now if they can finalize this call and get themselves settled. Yeah, hear some cheering over there, so I think it's right in front of the ECI bench. So we hear the cheering, so ECI I think is happy with the outcome of this call.
Fox looks like he's standing under it. See where the disc gets tapped in here, or when it does.
They're only about a yard from the end zone line, so this bodes well for ECI needing to score quickly.
Mentioned this was must score. It really is at this point, with the clock ticking the way it is.
Still discussion. Don't know if we're talking about positioning or where the count is. Little flinch from the East player, but that's what that.
Things get tapped in here, and
So if you're ECI, you have to be patient. You have to find a guaranteed goal.
Pangredich has Lagesson going up line. Gets the reset instead. Good bid attempts, give and go. And that's going to work out for the Rams. Pangredich finds Lagesson for the score. Much needed hold. And now time less of a factor because if they can score here, force that all-important universe point.
And well done on the offense at the front of the end zone. Just a simple little two-person game, little slash to the backfield fake and up the line. Well done. Nice and easy.
Timeout called by the Lions. A smart one, of course. But as I said, time is not going to be as much of a factor now because of that ECI score. ECI basically needs to score out to then force universe. Even if the hard cap goes right now, there's one final point, and if they can score it, force that all-important final universe one. So with that, we're going to get ourselves ready by taking a quick drink of water, and we'll be right back. This is the point right now to force universe, folks. Adam Scott, their first appearance at this tournament, potentially a chance to go to the final. They're defending offset champions. In fact, Etobicoke lost to this Adam Scott squad in semis of last year at offset. They finished third. Adam Scott won the title. Who's going to get the better of it? We're going to find out right now. This is the point to force universe. If Adam Scott scores based on the hard cap going off any time now, it's going to be them in the final. But if ECI, the Rams in white, score, then we're going to go to Universe.
Just look for a nice, patient offense. You only need a goal.
Lagesson really poaching Millets underneath, not letting him get a deep strike. Allen out there in the open side space as well.
Make him a handler. You've seen what he does downfield all day. Force him into the backfield.
This isn't the important point right here.
So
the horn did go off, Andrew, is what you're trying to tell me. Yeah.
So we've got a small discussion here. Let's do a quick turnaround at the horn. 8-5 for Bowmanville. So the other semifinal has a foregone conclusion now at the horn. Let's just try
this
and
one
wrap
doesn't.
Up. Yeah.
So we're gonna
let's wrap up this
that.
action. A little bit more discussion. We'll see where this goes.
This is an Adam Scott offensive point right now. And they're trying to hold out for the victory here.
Nice low mark. Get that disc up high in the air if you can on that handler.
Allen still in that open side space. There is a female matching player going to be poached somewhere on the field. And that's going to be Swalls. This throw going to go up. Lagesson knocks it down. Ava Johnston was intended receiver.
So Eastside has a chance. This is all they asked for. They needed that turn. Give their offense one chance to march down the field.
I can feel the tense moments of the parents. I see them on either side of us, and they're very nervous right now.
Tense for different reasons, Theo.
Well, they're both wanting to see their team make it to the final, and this point is going to help decide that. James, nice clap catch, finds Demkovic. Are they going to decide to punt it if they stall out here? They're going to hammer it in the back. Risky throw at this juncture of the game, but it works out. Pangretich inside to Lagesson. Johnston tried to get a poach block, doesn't come up empty there. Hammer for Lagesson. Nice. That's going to work. Has Demkovic going deep. Good second effort, but Burns providing some good defensive coverage and pressure. Burns finds a very open Millets.
Yeah, that transition deed wasn't great on the first pass.
That free offensive player going to work out. That's Johnston.
It's good recognition from the Lions to take advantage of that.
But an injury call, that might send the throw back. That's Miller down on the field, Parker Miller, number 15. See who comes in his stead.
I think he's cramping because their bench is a little bit laughing and throwing him Gatorade, so pretty sure it's a cramp right now.
Look, they're making light of the situation.
If you've had those, they're probably worse than a broken ankle sometimes, so I don't know if I'd appreciate my bench laughing at me for a cramp.
Hey, I'm trying to help you win a game here, and they're laughing? Come on.
But on the serious side, seeing the Lions take advantage of that poached player, they haven't fully taken advantage of that, and we've seen the Rams taking that.
And on that one, they did take advantage of it, as you mentioned. Ben Moher going to step in for Miller. I saw Mark Mann just jog on the field talking to Miller, trying to give him some instruction here. Not sure where this disc is going to end up. You see Allen, number 20 on your screen, really poaching and trying to get in the way. And that's allowed Johnston to get that free disc. The disc will stay with Burns here.
So, Theo, what I would say now is the player that caught the disc was wide open when the injury was called. Shouldn't the defender, here we go, the defender is coming back over to our near sideline to...
Johnston is free still. Gets a disc. Safe in the hands. Bursting up line is Burns. Less than 5 yards away from a finals berth here. Burns fakes the hammer. That would be a way to end the game here. Palmer. Back to Burns. Burns might go every other in this end zone set right now for the Lions up from Peterborough. Open side, they're looking for Millets. Millets catches it in traffic, and they're headed to the final. Burns finds Millets on the open side cone. And Adam Scott, your first appearance, you're heading to the finals. That's exciting.
They're cashing in on that 1 seed. Some of us may have wondered, with the team making their first appearance, they get a 1 seed. They're proving that seeding was correct.
Millets with 5 goals in the contest, making things happen for them. Burns, multiple assists as well. Adam Scott going to the final. We're going to have that for you at 3 o'clock local. It's a little Durham region finals action. Bowmanville taking on Adam Scott. That will be at 3 o'clock.